The Nightmare of War, A Desperate Gamble, 1942, The Eastern Front. Nazi Germany, a relentless war machine, threatened to crush the Soviet Union. Desperation clawed at the heart of the Red Army. Deep within the Siberian wilderness, hidden from prying eyes, lay Facility K7, a top-secret research facility shrouded in secrecy. The goal: to create the perfect soldier, one who could fight without rest, without fear, without mercy. The means: 5 political prisoners deemed expendable by the state, subjected to a radical sleep deprivation experiment. The mastermind, the enigmatic Dr. Ivan Petrov, a man driven by a chilling blend of ambition and ruthlessness. Whispers from the past, Dr. Ivanov's discovery. Decades later, the horrors of Facility K7 lay buried, a dark secret swallowed by the vast Siberian wilderness. The files, marked top secret, gathered dust in a forgotten archive. That is, until Dr. Dimitri Ivanov, a young historian researching the atrocities of the Soviet regime, stumbled upon them. The files, written in a faded Cyrillic script, detailed the experiment with chilling precision. Dr. Ivanov was captivated, horrified, and strangely drawn to the dark tale. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Dr. Ivanov embarked on a perilous journey to the abandoned facility. The journey was long, arduous, fraught with danger. Yet he was undeterred. He had to know, had to see with his own eyes the remnants of this unholy experiment. As he approached the facility, a sense of dread washed over him. The wind howled through the crumbling structure, whispering tales of suffering and madness. The gas, a catalyst for change. The early days of the experiment seemed promising, almost mundane. The subjects, kept in a sealed chamber, were exposed to a stimulant gas that staved off sleep. They remained awake, alert, and cooperative. Dr. Petrov, in his twisted excitement, meticulously documented every observation. As days turned into weeks, the effects of sleep deprivation began to manifest. The subjects grew irritable, paranoid. Hallucinations flickered at the edges of their sanity. One subject, however, began to exhibit peculiar, disturbing changes. Subject 3, a former schoolteacher, had always been the most resilient of the group. Now something was changing within him, something monstrous. Subject 3, a glimmer of humanity lost. Dr. Petrov, initially alarmed by Subject 3's rapid deterioration, soon convinced himself that this was a breakthrough. This was the next stage of human evolution, the shedding of weakness, the embrace of a higher state of consciousness. He was blind to the horror unfolding before him. Subject 3's ramblings, once filled with longing for his family, now consisted of chilling whispers. He spoke of shadows moving in the corners of his vision, of voices whispering his name from the air vents. One by one, the other subjects succumbed to the horrors of prolonged sleep deprivation. They descended into madness, their minds fracturing under the relentless assault of the stimulant gas. Subject 3, however, endured. He became a grotesque parody of a human being, his body emaciated, his mind twisted. Section 5. Unbreakable Bonds. The Twisted Camaraderie. The guards, hardened veterans of the Eastern Front, grew increasingly disturbed by the experiment. The screams that echoed from the chamber, the stench of madness and decay that permeated the facility, wore at their resolve. They had faced German tanks and artillery barrages, yet nothing could prepare them for the horrors that unfolded within Facility K7. Even Dr. Petrov, consumed by his obsession, began to feel a flicker of doubt. He had unleashed something terrible, something he could no longer control. The subjects, once his prisoners, were now his jailers, their silent gazes filled with an accusation he could not escape. One night, amid the chaos and despair, a strange, unsettling camaraderie formed between Subject 3 and the other subjects. Their whispers, once incoherent, now seemed to synchronize, to form a chorus of madness that echoed through the chamber. The guards, listening outside the chamber door, felt a chill run down their spines. Section 6. The walls crumble. A nightmare unleashed, the inevitable happened. A power surge, a moment of carelessness, a spark of defiance in the eyes of a terrified guard. The chamber door, designed to contain the subject, swung open. The nightmare spilled out into the facility. Panic ensued. Gunfire erupted, echoing through the sterile corridors. The guards, their faces pale with terror, fired blindly into the darkness, desperate to stop the horrors that were unleashed. Subject 3, his emaciated frame imbued with an unnatural strength, moved with terrifying speed. The other subjects, their minds shattered, their bodies twisted, followed in his wake, leaving a trail of blood and madness. Dr. Petrov, his hubris shattered, watched in horror as his creation consumed everything in its path. Section 7. Whispers in the Dark, the hunt for Subject 3. The massacre at Facility K7 sent shockwaves through the highest echelons of the Soviet government. A desperate clandestine operation was launched to contain the situation, to erase all evidence of their folly. A team of Spetsnaz, the elite of the Red Army, were dispatched to Siberia. Their mission to hunt down and eliminate the escaped subjects, to silence the whispers of Facility K7. The facility, once a bastion of scientific ambition, was now a charnel house. Its corridors stained with blood, its air thick with the stench of death and madness. The Spetsnaz, hardened veterans of countless battles, moved with a mixture of caution and dread. They had faced German panzers and SS death squads, yet nothing could shake the feeling that they were outmatched. Section 8, Beyond Human, the chilling encounter. Weeks passed as the Spetsnaz stalked their prey through the Siberian wilderness. They found the bodies of the escaped subjects, faces frozen in torment, all except one, Subject 3. He vanished without a trace. One night, a lone soldier stumbled upon a cave during a blizzard. He entered cautiously, finger on the trigger of his AK-47. The air was heavy with the stench of decay. Then he saw him, Subject 3, eyes burning with unnatural light. The soldier hesitated, feeling a primal fear. Subject 3 moved with unnatural speed, hands closing around the soldier's throat. Section 9. A haunting reminder. The price of ambition. The surviving Spetsnaz returned to Moscow, their faces etched with horror. They spoke of Subject 3 as something otherworldly, a creature of pure darkness. Their reports were dismissed as the ravings of traumatized men. The truth was buried, classified, hidden away in the bowels of the Kremlin. Dr. Petrov, his mind shattered by guilt and horror, was never seen again. Some whispered that he had been silenced by the state, his fate a grim reminder of the price of failure. Facility K7 was abandoned, left to rot under the endless Siberian sky. It stood as a monument to the hubris of man, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of civilization. Section 10, Echoes of the Experiment, the Curse Lingers. Years later, whispers of the experiment began to surface. Dissidents, journalists and historians, drawn to the darkness at the heart of the Soviet regime, unearthed fragments of the truth. Reports of strange occurrences began to circulate. Insomnia plagues, vivid nightmares, and cases of people disappearing into thin air, only to reappear days later, emaciated, their eyes filled with an unnatural hunger. These incidents, scattered and seemingly unconnected, hinted at the darker truth, a spreading contagion. The curse of Facility K7, it seemed, was not confined to the frozen wastelands of Siberia. It had seeped into the collective unconscious, a creeping dread that whispered in the shadows. Section 11, Epilogue. The Sleepless Nightmare continues. In a dimly lit room, a lone figure hunches over a desk, his eyes bloodshot, his face haggard. He is a journalist, driven by an insatiable curiosity, a need to expose the truth. He has spent years piecing together the fragments of the K7 story, chasing shadows. He knows he is close, he can feel it. The truth is out there, buried beneath layers of secrecy and lies. But the closer he gets, the more he questions his own sanity. The nightmares have started, vivid and disturbing. He is tired, so tired. He hasn't slept properly in days. The lines between reality and nightmare are blurring. He glances at his reflection, barely recognizing the gaunt, haunted figure staring back. The curse of Facility K7 has found its new subject.